Hello, my name is Mooncat and welcome to the beta server where the Space Age Jupiter Moon has just been released. Just yesterday I was saying that we might get it this week, then all of a sudden earlier today they announced it and the age is now live on the beta server. So in this video I will check it out, I will give a quick overview of the new things. This will not be a deep dive, but it will give you an overview of what is new in this age. So I will go over the units, I will go over the new great building, I'll quickly look at the colony, technologies, technology costs, and all of that. So first of all, let's start by quickly looking at the announcement. Here we have the new units, and I will go over those later on, so let's move on from those now. Here we have an overview of what is new in this age. So as in previous ages, you move on from the Venus colony here to the new colony on the Jupiter moon, which should be Europa. Not quite sure why they didn't call it Europa, but that's what it is. Anyways, so you move on to a new colony. You have 50 story quests, you have 45 side quests, and 15 recurring quests. It'll be interesting to see if these are the same or if they are new. Or if it's a mix of new and old perhaps. You have some new avatars, you have 7 new expansions, and in case you didn't know, they have also expanded the map, so you will have more expansions to place, or more room to place these expansions. So you have 3 diamond expansions, 2 expansions from technologies, 1 from the continent map, and 1 medal expansion. So you have 26 new technologies, and I will go over the costs and a little bit of that later on. You have 2 population buildings, you have 5 new military buildings of course, you have 11 goods buildings, so 5 goods buildings for the current age, which you will place in the colony, and 6 synthesizers, which are used to produce previous era goods, so goods from the Space Age Venus. Then we have 2 new production buildings, 2 culture buildings, 1 decoration, 2 new streets, so 1 by 1 street and 2 by 2 street, and finally 1 new great building. Now here we have a quick look at the colony. I think it looks quite nice. I was a little bit worried about the contrast between the roads and the buildings and the background. I think it's a little bit low contrast still, but I think this is much better than the Space Age Venus, where the roads were really difficult to see on the map. But I'll look more at this later on. And here we have the special good, the unknown DNA. I'll go over that a little bit as well later on. But the first thing I really want to look at is the new great building, the AI core, which is 5 by 5 as you can see here. And I've already prepared a small image to go over it a little bit more in detail. So here it is, 5 by 5. It has 2 boosts, which is a very nice relief. On the spoiler section, we thought it might only have 1. Quite a bad boost, but it has 2. So the first boost is guild goods production. Similar to the Ark, to the Observatory, to the Atomium, this is yet another building that will produce goods for your guild treasury. It produces 12 of each at level 1. This goes up to 25 at level 10, which is all the information we know so far. But if we compare that to the Ark, that is a few more goods than the Ark. So this will produce slightly more goods than the Ark does for your guild treasury, which means that it is definitely a nice building if your guild needs goods in your current age. Now the second bonus is slightly different depending on if you are in Arctic Future or above, or if you are below. If you are below the Arctic Future, it will work like the Lighthouse of Alexandria. It will boost your supply productions, so that's probably not that interesting. But this is definitely a secondary part if you are below Arctic Future. Below Arctic Future, the main one is the guild goods production. But if you are in Arctic Future or above, this will boost productions containing special goods. So for the first 4 collections in your main city containing special goods, you will collect 5% more special goods after reaching the Arctic Future. So this 5% is at level 1. At level 10 it gives 17%, so how far up that goes we don't know, but I think it'll probably be somewhere between 30, 40, perhaps even up to 50% at level, I don't know, 60, 70, 80 and so on. But one interesting thing is that this only applies to Arctic Harbor and Oceanic Terminal. That makes sense, but in the space ages, it only applies to the special goods synthesizers. And of course, still the Oceanic Terminal and Arctic Harbor, but it does not apply to the excavation sites on the continent map. At least not currently. I do hope they change that, because what this means is that after you move up to the space ages, this can no longer produce current era special goods, or it can no longer boost current era special goods. It can only boost previous era special goods when you move up to the space ages. And that is really bad in my opinion. I really do hope they change this so that they can also help produce current era special goods in the space ages. Now I do think this will be a very nice boost if you are moving through Arctic Future and Oceanic Future. In those eras, it will probably save you, I would say probably weeks, perhaps even a month or two, getting through those ages. So in those ages, if you want to get through those quickly, then I do think it will help getting one of these buildings, perhaps prepare in future era, get this to level 60, 70, 80 or something like that, and then move up to the Arctic Future. I think that would be a really good help if that is your scenario. But I think that's probably not applicable to a lot of people. So if that is not you, then this boost is not really interesting. For endgame players who are already in the later stages, who already moved up to the Space Age Venus when that came out, this boost here will not really help at all, which is sad. I really do hope they change this so that this also applies to the excavation sites, in which case it will be good for Space Age Jupiter Moon as well. So that is the great building. Here you see the cost of leveling it or getting it to level 1. 1050 each goods, which is a little bit more than previous year. I believe the last one was 950 if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, slightly more there. Alright, so that is the great building. I think it's alright, not amazing. It's definitely not bad. Or unless you don't really need the good guild goods, in that case it is kind of bad. But if your guild needs goods, or if you're planning to rush through Arctic Future and Oceanic Future, then I do think this is a good great building. So slightly disappointing, better than I thought, but it can still be improved, and hopefully it is. Alright, let's move on to units. And the way I'll do this is that I will talk through each of the units, each of the 5 units, and I will compare them to the Space Age Venus units. So first of all, the Abyssal Glider. This is the fast unit, and this is more or less the same as the fast unit from Space Age Venus and the Sentinel from Space Age Mars. So it has 850 attack, 900 defense, which if we compare it to the energy cannon from Space Age Venus, here you can see it has 800 attack and 900 defense. So very similar. This one has 8 range and 30 movement. If you look at the glider, this also has the same 8 range and 30 movement. These boosts here are slightly higher, but not really important at all. It still has the flying boost, but it has a keen eye of 35%. So a 35% chance of doubling damage instead of 30% in the previous age. So this means that this is slightly better than the Space Age Venus equivalent, so this should be slightly better to fight with. Then we have the artillery unit actually, the Cavitation tank. The name might suggest that this is a heavy unit, but nope, this is the artillery unit. It has 800 attack and 850 defense. And again, if we compare that to Space Age Venus, we can see that this is more attack, but slightly less defense actually. Actually more each. No, slightly less, slightly less, sorry. So yeah, slightly less defense, but more attack, which should be quite good. But instead of having the power shot ability, which ignores defensive skills, this one has blast. It means it can see through stealth, but it cannot hit fast unit. It cannot hit flying units. So this does mean it is worse. The range and movement are the same, So in that sense, it's more or less the same, but because of this ability, it is worse than the Space Age Venus artillery unit. And again, it gets a slight improvement of the Keen Eye ability, like all of these units do. Then we have the Division Drones, the light units. This has 800 attack and 1000 defense. If we compare that, that is, slightly more, quite a bit more defense. But again, 900 compared to 800, so here slightly less attack actually. But this shouldn't really matter. As you can see, the range is 3, the movement is 25, and the range is actually lower. This one has a range of 5, which is weird, but this one has a range of 3 for some reason, so this is even worse. It still hides. It hides in rubble instead of broken ground that the Space Age Venus did. But still, rubble is nothing like the planes that the hover tank hides on, so this is not really that useful. It will hide sometimes, of course, but overall this is not a good unit. Then we have the Glacier Hiker, which is again more or less the same. It has a range of 2 and a movement of 18, which is the same as the Space Age Venus unit. It has 900 attack and 1100 defense, which is, there's a decent boost over the Steel Fist from Space Age Venus, but again, due to the range and movement, it's not really helpful. Now this unit here, Space Age Venus one, has reactive armor, which means it cannot take more than 4 damage per attack, which means that you will have to 3-hit it unless you get the Keen Eye ability. This one instead has Force Field, which absorbs damage up to a minimum of 1 damage point. So what that means is that this will probably be quite a bit easier to fight in low attrition guild battlegrounds, fight against, because you're not going to be using this unit. But it will probably be slightly tougher in high attrition fighting, because there you absorb 2 flat damage, which is a decent amount, quite a big deal when you only deal, I don't know, 3 or 4 damage. This is quite a big deal later on. So in high attrition, I imagine this will be quite painful to fight against, but yeah, you don't really have to worry about this, I think. It has such a low range, so you're not going to be using it, and I think it'll be quite alright to get through it in guild battlegrounds anyways. And yeah, it still has the same Keen Eye ability. Then we have the Harpoon Grenadier, yet another unit that sounds like a heavy unit, but nope, this is also not a heavy. This is the ranged unit. This has 800 attack and 900 defense. If we compare that, that is 50 more and 50 less, so roughly the same values there. It has the same range, so 14 range and 16 movement, 14 and 16. Now this one has the blast ability that the artillery unit has in this age. This unit though has contact, and this I think will make this the go-to unit. This will probably mean that this is more or less the same as the Nailstorm from Space Age Asteroid Belt. I think this, combined with Rogues, will be the go-to combination. Because of the contact here, it will always retaliate against units within range. And if we look at this attack range here, it has 14, the Glacier Hiker has 2, the Division Drone 3, the Cavitation Tank has 24, so this will not take retaliation damage, but the Abyssal Glider will. So all units except for the artillery will take retaliation damage when they attack the Grenadier, or rogues turning into Grenadier. So I believe this will be the go-to unit, and I do have a video kind of going over why it is such a good unit. So this was a video sent to me by Tanmay from the beta server. Really appreciate sending me this. And here you can see, if I skip ahead to the right moment, so here you can see how good this is against fast units, for example. So on wave 1, the fast units will attack first, they will hit your rogues, but because they are within range, they will take retaliation damage. You can see all of these take retaliation damage. Of course, this is low defense boosts, but still, you get a free hit in on all of these units here, which means that, yeah, in low attrition fighting, you will be one-hitting this, essentially, after the first wave. So especially against fast units, but also against any units really, except for the artillery units. These will be really good. So I do think these will be the go-to units to fight with, perhaps also combined with the fast unit. So the fast unit, the Abyssal Glider, should also be really good. I think it will probably be better than in last year in the Space Age Venus, because in this age, the artillery unit, as you saw, the artillery unit cannot hit the Abyssal Glider anymore. So this will probably make the Abyssal Glider better at fighting with than the energy cannon. Is that the name? I forget the name. Let me find it. It'll probably be better than the energy cannon. Yep, there it is. Because the artillery units can no longer hit the fast unit, the energy cannon. So yeah, I do think in general, I think the age will be a good age to fight in. I believe that the Abyssal Glider, 8 of those will be a good combo to use, but I think the best combo in most cases will be 1 or 2 of these and rogues. But we'll have to see, play around with it a little bit and see if that is correct. But I do think it will be a good age to fight in. Alright, now let's move on to the technologies. Let's have a look at those. So here we have the total cost for the age, and it's a little bit interesting. It's actually not that bad. I would say it's actually better or lower than the Space Age Venus. So one thing that does increase is the number of forge points. So here we have 15,645 forge points compared to 12,000 in Space Age Venus. Supplies and coins also go up, but you probably do have enough of those. But when it comes to the current era goods, for example, which are these 5 here you can see that these cost just below 11,000. In the last year, this was also 11,000. So around the same there, no change there. When it comes to the special good, which is this one, it costs, you only need 10,000, or I say only, that is quite a lot, but you need 10,000 here, but in the last age you needed 12,000 Venus carbon, so you need less of that. And also if you go further than that, you only need 8,000 Venus carbon, which you should have been able to collect over the year. You only need 4,000 asteroid ice. You do need around 3,000 each of the Space Age Venus goods, which is definitely not a lot. And then for the lower ages, so Oceanic, Arctic, and Space Age Mars, you practically don't need anything. If you have a space carrier, for example, you probably have already collected this. And even if you don't, these are very easy to produce. This is like, I don't know, 2 weeks of productions, and you have those. So that's no problem at all. And same with the Mars ore, you should have plenty there from a space carrier, for example. But even if you don't, just place down some synthesizers, and it's no problem at all to collect all of this. So in terms of goods costs, I think this is actually nicer, better than the previous era. So I don't think that's going to be a challenge for any established player to get through. And in terms of the technologies, first of all, here you unlock quite a lot of goods buildings, so not really anything interesting. And yeah, a lot of colony stuff, colony stuff. So the first unit you unlock is the division drones, which, as I went over, you will not be using. Then the next one is the cavitation tank. Again, this is probably not that useful. You can definitely use it, but you have to make sure that the enemy defense does not have any flying unit. If there are no flying units, then I think 2 of these, or even 8 of these, or 2 of these and some rogues will be a good combo. But if there are flying units, these will not be able to hit them, so make sure you know that. Then we have one of the production buildings. The 4x4, relatively small, but it does need a 2-lane road, so it's all right. Then we have one of the buildings. Again, you're probably not going to be using this. So here we have the expansion, the first expansion. The last one is probably all the way at the end. I haven't really looked yet, but yeah, here we have the first expansion. So shouldn't be too hard to get that. You do need quite a lot here. Let's see how many. Let's see if you need any special goods. You don't actually, yeah, you need 450 unknown DNA, the special good of this era. So This should actually be quite quick to unlock. You don't need that much DNA. So we probably should be able to get this within a few days. Alright, then we have here the Abyssal Glider. This will probably be your go-to unit in the beginning, because this, yeah, again, it's not that difficult to unlock. You need another 500 unknown DNA, so some more special goods, but not too many. So this will probably be the first stop, the first goods military building you will get. Then we have the Aquatic Museum. This will probably be quite a good building for events to sell and to build and sell in order to gather supplies or coins. As you can see, it costs quite a lot, so it should be good there, but not a lot else. Here you have the Glacier Hiker. Again, you're not going to be using this. And then you have the Harpoon Grenadier. They definitely know this will be the best unit because they have hit it all the way at the end of the tech tree. But yeah, this is going to be the best unit, so eventually, as you get all the unknown DNA you need, yeah, this one needs quite a lot. So here we need 1500, another 1000, so quite a lot of DNA, unknown DNA, the special good here to unlock this. But eventually you will unlock this and you will probably place this building and produce some with your Alcatraz. Alright, here we have the street. It looks quite nice. That's the 2x2 one. Let's see if we can find the 1x1. It is here. So yeah, it looks quite nice. It looks similar to, I believe it is the Virtual Future one. But yeah, it looks quite nice. I'll probably replace my roads, not that I need to, but I like the new look. And then finally, all the way at the end, 2000 unknown DNA. So this one will cost a lot of special goods. But yeah, this one finally to unlock the new expansion. And then we have the new age, or next age, which is at the moment at least Space Age Titan. This will probably change. This is just a placeholder. But it seems like we might get another age. Hopefully that is not yet another copy-paste, because that would be a shame. But yeah, so here we have all the technologies, a quick look at those. And now let's move on and look a little bit on the colony. So here we have the colony. This is how it looks to build. So as I said, the contrast I think is a little bit low between the roads and the background and the buildings. They're all quite dark. But it is much better than Venus, so you shouldn't really have any problem building like I had in the Venus. It was really challenging to build in Venus. Actually, for those who don't know, let me just quickly show you that, because I don't know, I think it's really hard to see where the roads are and all of that. So where are the roads here? They are here, you can't see them, but this is a mess. I don't know, I really hate this. I like the style, I like the art style, but the roads are so hard to see. So hard to see. Anyways, that is at least a little bit better in this new age. So that is good. But again, you're probably not going to be using it a lot. You're probably only going to be focusing on the credits, I think. At least I am personally. Perhaps you will be producing goods. That's of course something you can do eventually. But yeah. So yeah, here we have it. It looks nice, but the play style and all of that is the same as last year. And I really don't like the play style here. It's just, no, I don't bother with them. I simply ignore the colony after the first week or two, which is a shame. I really like the idea of it, but sadly the implementation I don't like, and they haven't really changed that since, well, they haven't changed it since Space Age Mars, so there's that. This is probably my favorite looking one, I think. I really like the background, I really like the abyss down there, it looks quite cool. But yeah, it's not really that inspiring in my opinion, to be honest. Anyways, then we have, if we move on a little bit, so here we have the continent map. So again, I think this looks quite cool, with some watery background, and the idea behind all of this is the Europa moon around Jupiter, which is believed to have water under a layer of ice. So that's where the inspiration for all of this comes from. Which is why I find it a little bit weird that I didn't call it Space Age Europa, for example. So here, Jupiter, Moon, or Europa. So, I don't know. But yeah, here we have the two maps. This is just the same as the Space Age Venus. And here, it's the same as Space Age Venus, to be honest. Just a different skin, which is kind of the story of this age, but it is what it is. Anyways, when it comes to fighting these provinces, you should have like, easy time with your Space Age Venus units early on and throughout the entire map. If you have anywhere close to decent boosts, these have 180 attack and defense boosts, so that is nothing. So you should have an easy time fighting your way through these if you have anywhere close to decent boosts. Oh, nice. Diamonds. Himeji goods there, that's nice. Anyways, so fighting your way through it shouldn't be a problem. I don't have the information quite yet about how many diamonds and so on you can get, but I will have all of that, and I will probably do a live stream this year as well, like I did last year, where I simply diamond my way through the entire map to, show that and all of that. So I probably will have a stream on that, which should be interesting. But yeah, here we have the map. Nothing too exciting. You should be very easy to win with your Space Age Venus units. So yeah, scouting time 1 day and 6 hours. So that is a little bit longer than previous eras, but you probably will spend some time, I think. And if it is anything like last year, you actually didn't spend a lot of net diamonds. The diamonds you spent on scouting, you got back from the map mostly. So yeah, that'll be interesting to see. Anyways, I think I will end this video because I've been going on for 27 minutes. I do believe I have shown all I need to show in what was supposed to be a quick introduction video. It wasn't that quick after all. I do again want to thank Tanmay for sending me these videos, for helping me out showing this, because I'm not in Space Age Venus on my beta world, so I couldn't record this myself. So thanks a lot for that. I want to thank BritishBoy for sending this information here about the units. That was helpful, so thanks a lot for that. And yeah, thanks a lot for watching. So before I end this video, I also want to thank my Patreons for supporting me and my content. I would like to thank Homestar, Fort Prefect, Lorden, Rockin' Robin, Kim Cayley, Joshua Clark, Merrick B, Arthur, Hugo Kant von Count, Jan Fredriksen, Jutta Genovese, Filda, Rush, Susan Weiss, Megarock, Rocco, Henrik Kleber, Mattia, Opji the Obsessed, Raf, and Kim. Thank you all very much for watching, take care, and I will see you in the future.